How can we understand ourselves? How can we help ourselves in times of uncertainty? How can we begin to feel more in control of our emotions, our behaviors? Well, these are questions that I get asked all of the time. And one of the most powerful things that we can do is learn to understand our thoughts. Hi, my name's Amy and I'm a personal empowerment coach. And my mission is to help empower individuals so we can feel more confident and connected, to help navigate our external experiences and live more wholesome and fulfilled lives. Today, I want to talk to you about the importance and power of our language and our thoughts. It may seem simple, but when was the last time you actually paid attention to the way that you speak to yourself? The first time that I did this, I was shocked. I was horrible to myself. I would say you're not good enough, you don't deserve it, you're not fast enough, you're not clever enough. Such disempowering language that I would never dream of saying to anyone else. Because the truth is, from children, we're taught to be polite and kind and support each other, but we so often forget that our biggest responsibility is to be our own best friend. Language is the bridge between our internal and our external experiences. What we see and perceive outside, we internalize and feel inside. In the same way that how we feel inside, we project outwards through our behaviors. We are creatures of habit. We create patterns of behaviors, of thinking. Over time, these patterns of thinking become our responses. How it works is every single time you have a thought, millions of electrical impulses are fired and carried across neurotransmitters from one neuron to another neuron. If you repeat that thought, the pathway becomes strengthened. Over time, it becomes a part of our subconscious and becomes part of our core beliefs. We are conditioned human beings, and the first step is becoming aware of these patterns of thinking. And that way, we'll be able to change it. We'll be able to feel like we have more understanding of ourselves and more control over our emotions and our behaviors. We have lazy brains. 95% of what we do is subconscious. So making cups of tea, swimming, driving cars, we don't have to think about it, which is great. We preserve mental energy, but it shows the importance and how easy it is for patterns of thinking to slip into our subconscious, and we end up disempowering ourselves without being aware of it, and our confidence is affected. So listen to your language, notice it. Are you being kind or are you being harsh? Step back, be an observer. You may have heard of psychologists say, be a scientist. Well, be a scientist on your thoughts. Stand there with a clipboard, observe those trains and flow of thoughts as they stream through our minds. That's how we process information. We have thousands of different thoughts going through our heads every single second, and yet we identify ourselves and attach ourselves so closely to particular thought patterns, and they're not true. It's really important that we start detaching ourselves from our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. They're kind of just guidelines. So we can create this gap. We can disidentify ourselves from our thoughts. How often has your brain lied to you or misinterpreted information? How often have you received information through your senses? Something that you've smelt, something that you've seen, and it's wrong. Our brains lie to us. They deceive us. They can be bullies. You are not your thoughts. We can choose to listen and identify with empowering thoughts. It's our responsibility to ourselves. You may have heard of some psychologists or scientists explore linguistic relativity. Well, this is where languages change the meaning when we use different words. We very often understand and process our consciousness through our language. And language is a huge part of meaning, but it's the meaning that we give it. It's how we understand our external experiences. We create narratives, we create stories. So we can choose language that empowers us. We can choose to write narratives. It's not often the events or the experiences, it's what they mean to us. It's what we tell ourselves. Our thoughts create our feelings create our actions create our behaviors create our habits, and our habits define the quality of our lives. So it begins with a thought. It's like a seed. It can grow. The same as the butterfly effect. The butterfly can create the smallest amount of energy with just a flap of its wing. Over time, that wind can grow and evolve, and by the time it reaches the other side of the world, it could be a huge gust of wind. Well, we can choose the language that empowers us. We can choose positive language. But repetition is key. This is why mantras and affirmations work, because the more times you repeat that thought, the stronger the pathways become, and the easier it is to believe it, and you start to build yourself up. So if you have a disempowering thought, replace it. Attach a new positive thought to it. Neutralize it. Don't identify yourself with it. It's not you. It's just a thought. And repeat them. Something that I really love to do is think out loud. It may seem silly, but it's a really great way to be able to hear your language and hear the way that you're speaking to yourself. Another really great thing to do is don't use such harsh language. Soften your language. Don't say things like I should or never or always, but instead choose language like I can or I choose or I believe. This way we leave room for potential and possibility and growth. Self-love is about understanding, forgiveness, and acceptance. So give it to yourself first. Choose your language, bring awareness to your thoughts, and begin to empower yourself and build yourself up. If you've liked what you've heard on today's video, please subscribe to my channel. Please like my Facebook and Instagram pages and look out for more great content about how we can build our understanding of ourselves and begin to live more confident and fulfilled lives. Thanks for listening, and I will see you soon.